Hello and welcome to another episode of Transcontinental Overload. I'm Stephanie, your host, and my guest today is Luise Gutsche, a fellow German who is currently stuck in her home country. She is supposed to be in Shanghai, where she moved with her family last summer, but as is the case with so many of us, and especially expats, the coronavirus has completely upended her plans, and what was supposed to be just a couple of weeks of an unplanned visit has now turned into a few months. Before moving to Shanghai, Luise and her husband lived in Italy and in Mexico, and then spent quite a long stretch back in Germany before packing their bags again. She's the mother of 4 children, so we talk about juggling family life quite a bit, and she absolutely loves being an expat. Luise runs 2 websites. They're both in German. One is her photography site, and the other one is her blog, www.shanghaicalling.de, where she writes about China, her impressions and experiences, and there's a lot of information on Chinese culture, and I really look forward to reading more when she eventually returns to Shanghai. The links, as ever, are in the show notes. There is a beautiful quote on her website. It's a Chinese proverb by an unknown author, and I think it sums up perfectly what being an expat is all about. It's not the wind that determines the direction you're going, but the sail. Luise and I connected through a German expat group on Facebook, actually, Die Weltfrauen, Global Women. And we exchanged some messages, and well, here she is. Let's hear Luise's story. Hi Luise, I'm so happy to have you here talking to me today about your expat experiences.
Yes, hello, thanks for inviting me.
As I mentioned in my introduction, Luise and I connected through this German expat group, Weltfrauen, on Facebook. And this group is absolutely amazing. It's so supportive and informative. And I only joined a few months ago, but I've made so many connections through that group, and I've learned so much. And yeah, I'm really, really impressed. So yeah, it's my absolute pleasure that we get to spend some time today talking about expat living.
Thanks for calling me.
Yeah, it's such a good group, isn't it?
Very nice. Really love this group now. It's an amazing place where you really have so many little questions, and there is always someone who can answer.
Yeah.
It's amazing how helpful women are. You don't know, and you probably will never meet. And this is really helpful for everybody, for not only for the women, but also for the families.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and I've really noticed especially the last 2 months, like with this, the coronavirus crisis, and people really stranded somewhere, or their family members are stranded somewhere, and people trying to find out how they can get their son from Australia to Germany via other countries. And the amount of people who stepped up and just offered help unconditionally, and just, yeah, we're here, and no judgment,
no question who you are.
Yeah, with groups like that, sometimes it's maybe it's because I'm German and I'm very sensitive to, and very kind of touchy when it comes to how we come across sometimes, but very often you get that very critical tone rather than a helpful one. It feels more judgy, and it's that you get that nice German Besserwisser attitude. Sometimes that doesn't come across as helpful, but more kind of criticizing or critical. I don't know if you have the same experience, but I can see that.
I do have this, yes.
And so that's why this group, it somehow doesn't exist in that group. And I wonder if that's because all these women are expat women who have lived in various cultures and just learned to appreciate the support rather than the unsolicited advice.
Yeah, I think it's a point of living abroad and living out of your normal box and living out of your comfort zone, and you change your mind, and you are always being an expat woman, being an expat mother. You always come to a point where you need help, and you don't have your neighbor, you don't have your sister, you don't have your mother. who can help, but you have other expats from different countries. And I've never, ever experienced anything like, no, I don't have time. No, I can't help you. It's really helpful. It's always very supportive, very open-minded.
No, it's really good. So when we first connected, and I can't even remember what the reason was, but we exchanged messages, and then I asked if you were interested in coming on to this show and talk about your experience, and you were like, yes, I'm totally interested. And then
why not? I'm fine.
I looked at, wow, this is exactly what kind of spoke to me, because then I looked at your website, which it's a blog, and it's called Shanghai Calling.
Yes.
It is in German. So for those of you reading German, you should absolutely check it out. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
What really spoke to me was, and it comes across so well on your website, is your positive can-do attitude. The way you describe yourself on there, and even your photo, is just full of this energy. So you just see that everywhere on your site, and I love that. The overall impression is, this is what I want to do. This is what I love. And that really spoke to me, because I think this is one of the most important things when you are an expat or considering expat life, that openness and positivity. And so that really, really spoke to me.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you have to be ready going abroad. And it is not always easy. And it's not always a good time being abroad, being in a different country, being in a different culture, speaking a different language, not really having your friends around. But for me, it's a kind of challenging life, and you really get to know so many other things, and you learn so much about yourself. And knowing when you are in a bad mood, how to come out of it, and to say, okay, now it's the day where I really need to call my good friend in Germany. I don't care whether she is already in bed or not. I need to talk to her, and having this kind of freedom in your brain or in your heart to say, okay, when it really comes to a point, I don't really I take the phone, or I do whatever I need to do right now to come out of a negative situation. And I don't have these lots of negative situations, but I mean, sometimes you have little children, and they are whatever they have. You need somehow this very home like support. This
where you
what you know and what you are used to, how the pediatrician, you can talk to him 100%, that you really understand what you want, and
that's the comfort zone.
Yeah,
it's hard to open yourself up sometimes to different ways of doing things, and it's like you talk about medicine, and that's exactly one of those things. It's so hard to get used to a new medical system, and the way people talk, and what is considered normal in one country is not the approach in another, and that is really tough for a family to get used to, and to not but also to kind of learn to accept it, because you don't really have a choice. Because I mean, you can't, if you're somewhere at the other end of the world, you can't call your doctor in Germany. So
no, I mean, I gave birth to my twins in Mexico. And when I called my father telling him I'm pregnant with twins, he said, well, but you're coming home to give birth. I said, well, Dad, probably not.
That's not practical.
That's not practical. I have the other two are, they have been 2 and 4. So yeah, I said, well, I can let them alone in Mexico. I really don't come to Germany. And he said, well, but Mexico, it's an underdeveloped country. I think you won't find this medical support which you normally have in Germany. I said, Dad, listen, we have a very good insurance company, and it is much better than the normal standard in Germany.
So you mentioned Mexico, and why don't we start with your expat story? Let's go back to the beginning and let's find out what made you decide to move and leave Germany.
Yeah, well, I was married in 98, and my husband worked for a pharmaceutical company. And well, he ended his traineeship in that company, and they offered him to go for 2 3 years to Italy to learn a bit more about um, this international company. And we said, wow, we are married, we don't have children. What a challenging start of being a couple, being married. Why not going to Bella Italia?
Mm-hmm.
So we did it. That was not really a question of not doing it. And so we decided to go. We went to Milan. We had a fantastic apartment, a rooftop apartment. We had a beautiful view. We just the two of us. After
Fabulous.
the end of
Yeah.
the month, the money was spent,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a lovely time digging into expat life, digging into Italian way of living,
Mm.
enjoying life, enjoying food, enjoying el mare and el sol and
Yeah.
all these kind of kind of
Mm-hmm.
living your dream of when you are in love with someone and you
Yeah.
start your your life together.
That sounds like such a perfect start to
It was a
expat
perfect start.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, and we were happy to be a bit far away from our families,
Mm-hmm.
that we really could decide things how we want to do it and not in a way our parents wanted to do it. These phone calls, what are you doing,
Mm-hmm.
what are your plans,
Mm-hmm.
and what's your way, and how is
Mm-hmm.
your career, and what next steps are the best for you. We were just away in a different country and we were on our own,
Doing your
and
thing.
us it was the best start.
Yeah.
Not always easy, um, but it was wonderful
Yeah.
because we were just the two of us. I mean, there
Mm-hmm.
were nothing to care about.
Yeah.
And I got pregnant, and we gave birth to our first son in Italy in a very beautiful hospital. It was like a 5-star hospital, and it was an amazing
Mm-hmm.
experience because this Hebamme, I don't know the English word for it,
Midwife.
the
Midwife.
midwife,
Yeah.
she was a real Italian woman, something about 100 kilos. And she was like my mom in this.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, you can do it. And in this kind of Italian
Mm-hmm.
way of, of being la mamma to
Mm-hmm.
me. And it was an amazing experience giving birth in Italy.
Yeah.
And then it was, I mean, my son, he was tall, he was blonde, he was blue eyes, and can you imagine? Yeah, so we went back after 5 years to
Mm-hmm.
Germany.
Did you have to go back? Was it work related?
It was work related. My
Mm-hmm.
husband got a new offer in headquarters, in a city close to headquarters in Ingelheim. It's close to Frankfurt. And yeah, we stayed there. I plan to go back to my old job, being in marketing for a weather company, a weather forecast company. But the things went in a different way. I got pregnant for the second time. And when our daughter was a year old, we got the next offer to going abroad. It was Mexico.
Oh,
And I said,
wow.
well, in Mexico, what a thrilling place to be.
Yes.
So it was really not a point of thinking about to do it or not to do it. But it was more a question when.
Yeah.
So we were open. We were, well, we had 2 little children. I didn't really suffer not going back to my job because I'm a more 100% mother. And so we said, well, why not? Different country, a new language, a different continent. it was exciting.
And you had a very positive experience already, and some experience, just the knowing what it feels like to be an expat. And then I guess with young children too, we don't have to really think about too many things like schools and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It was. I mean, they were a year old, and our
Mhm.
son was 3 years old, so
Mhm.
he was ready to go for kindergarten.
Yeah.
And it's not like that they suffered losing their friends in Germany.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, having this experience, being in Italy already for 5 years, and knowing
Yeah.
what it means to be an expat woman, to dig into the
Mm-hmm.
international expat women community,
Yeah.
it was quite easy. So I said, well, I think it won't be that difficult
Mhm.
getting into touch with other expat women in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were more than happy to have this opportunity going abroad
Where did you live in Mexico?
in Mexico City. Yeah, it was downtown. So it was fun, and
Mhm.
it was you see the difference between the wealthy people and the very poor people. I mean, the poor people are really, really poor. And then you have these absolutely rich families who are more than protected. And you see this range of
Mhm.
wealth and poorness. And we had a muchacha. It's like a house, your house Mädchen.
Mhm.
Um, and she was part of our family. I mean, she helped changing diapers. She was there babysitting. She cleaned the house. She was responsible for cooking, and we cooked together Mexican food, and
Mhm.
everything was
It's
lovely.
it's my favorite cuisine.
I still love it. I still love it. I miss a very good tequila. I miss my corn
Yeah.
tortillas. Um, I really
Mhm.
miss this arrachera, this kind of meat,
Mhm.
this kind of green, spicy, um, how you say sauces. It salsas.
Yeah.
It's the way of how they live, and they are. I always told my muchacha, please, I know you know that tomorrow is my birthday, but please don't buy me anything, nothing. I don't want anything. It's your gift for me that you are here, that you are supporting me.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
please don't spend any money.
Yeah.
What happened? A big bouquet of roses. I don't know how much she spent for it. They love to give other people things and to show I like you. And I couldn't really change it.
Mhm.
Well, I had these roses, and it's like the kind of living and the kind of kindness. If you offer, you support them and you help them, and then you give it, you receive so much love, that
Mhm.
I really miss Mexico. And I don't know how to explain it. It's overwhelming,
Mhm.
when you really, in the end, you can say she's my friend, and I still have contact to her.
So did you, I mean, you already spoke Italian from living in Italy for 5 years. So how was learning Spanish?
It was difficult because I learned it in a school, Spanish school, and it was easy because I, with Latin at school,
Mm.
with Italian already, with Spanish, with French, it was not difficult to learn Spanish, but I mixed everything.
Yeah.
So I mixed, my sentence started in kind of
Mhm.
Spanish, and then there was some Italian phrases, and then some French, and in the end, it was difficult to change languages in your brain. But
Mhm.
after a while, it was easy. I understand much more than I can speak actively. And this is the same with Italian. Yeah, and now we are in China after 10 years being in Germany.
Yeah, let's circle back. So
Yeah,
how long were you in Mexico?
well, we've been 3 years. And then my
3 years.
husband
Mhm.
got another a new job in Germany. And it was a big opportunity for him. So it was
Mhm.
not really a choice for us.
Mhm.
And I was really sad leaving the
Yeah, I
country
can
and not
imagine.
giving my children, because I gave birth to our twins.
And so basically you went back to Germany with 4
Yeah.
children. Wow.
Yeah, so we went back to Germany with 4 children. The twins turned a year, so she was 4, so 6, so ready to go for the class for primary school.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so their childhood, more or less, they spent in Germany 10 years. And yeah, it was like coming back. I mean, we both didn't grow up in Heim. It's
Mm-hmm.
tiny. It's a 26,000 people
Mm-hmm.
town. But having 4 children, it is a very good place to be, because you have short ways to go.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of walked on their own to the kindergarten, to
Yeah.
primary school, and then to secondary school. So it was a good surrounding.
And I think that's one of the things that, especially when you're not used to it, a lot of expats who live in Germany and moved there from somewhere else, they always say how easy it is with younger children, and the freedom they have to like walk to school by themselves and that kind of thing. So that was probably a nice thing to experience after very different cultures.
It was a nice thing, yes, because in Mexico you are gated. I
Yeah.
mean, we lived in a condominio. It was well protected.
Mm-hmm.
And from this place we just moved to the kindergarten, which was more than protected by police, or we moved to a sporting club, which was well protected.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, at that time it was difficult, politically difficult, and we had to be very careful how to move and where to be, and not giving any signs of there are Germans who can be, well,
Yeah.
they can somehow get some money.
Full victim.
So
Yeah.
we had to be very careful, and had to look very good on our children.
Mm-hmm.
So then, being in Germany and having the freedom and having the opportunity to go on their own,
Yeah.
buying a ice cream, yeah, it was a kind of new life.
Mm-hmm. So do you feel, I mean, you said your oldest was starting primary school in Germany. Did he,
Yes.
so did he speak German through you, and or did he also speak Spanish, or mostly Spanish? Because I guess at that point it's very children, because they're such sponges for languages. They probably
Yes.
picked up.
Yeah. So our eldest, he learned Spanish
Mm-hmm.
just quickly in the kindergarten. He was really good. So he spoke both languages very fluent, really fluent. But with the time going back to Germany, he somehow skipped speaking Spanish. So
Mm-hmm.
I tried to. We had an au pair girl. She came with us, and with this idea that she speaks with
Mm-hmm.
our 2 eldest
Yeah.
Spanish, but it didn't really work out.
Yeah.
And our daughter, she was 4 years. She was better in Spanish than in German,
Mm-hmm.
and she absolutely refused to speak any Spanish at all, because both kind of didn't really want to be different.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to be extraordinary, or it's children who can do something that the others can't do.
Yeah. And I guess, yeah, it's for young children, but even older children, I think it takes them a while to appreciate the fact that they do have other assets up their sleeves. And when they're young, yeah, it's all about fitting in.
Yes.
And also it's like, why they probably just didn't see the reason for speaking Spanish. Why should they? No one else around them speaking Spanish. So
Absolutely.
doesn't make
Was what
sense. Mm-hmm.
reason? No reason.
Yeah.
But I both learned, decided to learn Spanish at school in 9th grade.
Okay.
So it was easy for them.
Mm-hmm.
I said, listen, you have so much of your Spanish in your passive brain.
Yeah. It will come out.
Just listen,
Mhm.
4 or 5 weeks, and then you are back to all your vocabulary. And
Mhm.
this is what happened. Both really love to
Mhm.
learn Spanish, and they do speak really well, very well.
Yeah, amazing. I just love, I'm so, it's one of my favorite subjects, how we learn languages and what happens with the brain. And it's so interesting to hear people's experiences with their children because it's so individual. But yes, as you said, there's no need to speak it. So why would I? It's like I'm a, you know.
Yeah, it's a rational kind of thing.
Hmm.
And still, I mean, I spoke quite good Spanish, but not as good as they. So, mommy, why do you speak Spanish
Yeah,
with us?
it's not
I said,
natural. Hmm.
listen, because I don't want you to lose your
Yeah.
the language.
Hmm.
And but in the end, it didn't really work out. And
Yeah. I honestly think it eventually really they have to decide for themselves. And I think it's always better to learn when you're
yeah,
motivated.
and in the end, putting pressure
Mm.
on children, it isn't really worthwhile, because for them, they everything changed
Yeah.
from one minute to another. So finding
Yeah.
new friends, it was not easy. It
Hmm.
was not easy.
You said you lived in, so you went back to Germany and kids started school, and then you said you were there for 10 years. Now that is a long stretch of time. Did you think you were going to move again, or did it more feel like,
I
well, we're
always
back
said,
now, back home now?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a good question. It's a good question. I always told my husband, listen,
Hmm.
we lived 8 years abroad for your
Hmm.
company. It's enough.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't really want to go out of my comfort zone anymore. We struggled, not struggled, but I mean, it's a tough game, raising 4 children and supporting them with all their, with school, with sport, and
God, yes.
learning instruments, and getting having good friends, and all this with four. It's a tough job.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, there's no reason to go
Hmm.
once more abroad. And
And did you feel like you had got used to being in Germany again? Were you quite happy? Or
well, coming back from Mexico, it takes a while to get
Mhm.
to uh yeah, to be back. I mean, there is no one in Germany who waits for you.
No.
It's, yeah, it
Yeah,
is. I
so
mean,
true.
we lived only 3 years in Ingelheim when we came back from Italy. And it's not that they would say, well, we really missed you. You have to start from scratch. And
Yeah.
this is the challenging thing. You have to look for your children. You have to look that they are happy. And then you have to look for the house. This
Mhm.
is all is okay, and all these uh, the whole organization, because my husband worked all
Mhm.
day long. And then you have to look for your own
Mhm.
new friendships.
In a
And
way, it is like being an expat again.
it is like being an expat again. Yes, absolutely. Because my old friends from school, from university, they don't live,
Mhm.
they didn't live in Ingelheim. So, I mean, and having 4 children, you'd gone to say, okay, I go to Frankfurt, or I go to Wiesbaden, and I have enough time to see friends, and
Mhm.
or to build up new friendships. I mean, there is not a lot of time
Mhm.
to do this. It's not like you go and you go back to your home country and all is normal,
No,
because nobody really waits for you.
I had
No,
exactly the
no
same.
one.
Yeah, I had exactly the same experience, and I don't know why I believed when early on the early days of being an expat, and people were like, "Well, if it doesn't work out, you can always just come back," and there is no such thing. You can't
No.
just go back, and you can't, it's coming, but that's not really the easy solution. So whenever people say that, and mostly people who haven't experienced being an expat, and they say, yeah, just come back. Yeah, that's really almost like, yeah, like you said, it's starting from scratch. So, and then having 4 children, obviously that's and all at different stages and
Yeah.
ages, and yeah.
Yeah, you have kindergarten, you have primary school, then you have secondary school. I mean, 4 children
Yeah.
in 3 different positions or institutions. Yeah, and then the first two are very easy. And then we have the twins have dyslexia. So we had a lot of problems with school with them. I needed to support them a lot. We had a lot of problems in the German school system that they could help them. To be honest, I am more than happy not having any children anymore in the German school system. I really must say, I mean, we decided to send our son to a boarding school in Scotland, not because we decided that he has to go out of the German school system, because we wanted to offer him the opportunity to live in a boarding school, getting more experiences, not only learning your school things, German, biology, maths, English, but this broader curriculum, learning out of classroom and learning social behavior, learning all these things you learn out of your classroom, being in your peer group. And so he decided to be there just for 3 months. And
when was that? At what age and grade was that?
In 10th grade. 10th grade. He decided not to go for a year. He said, well, I'll be back in 3 months. I said, well, not that long. But after 2 weeks, or I think it was less than 2 weeks, he called us and said, can I stay here for a year? And he was happy. And he could behave how he was. He's a very, very intelligent boy. And there was no limits. The teachers supported him, and he gave him more food for his brain. And this is what the German school really didn't offer him. And then in the end he decided not to go back to the German school because he was so happy.
Wow, that's amazing. But that's
lucky us, we have the opportunity to offer him this.
So how did you find the school, or was that something that the German
my husband went to this boarding school in very north of Scotland, and he stayed there for a year in year 11, which was used to when we were children.
Okay, so you had some previous connection.
We had some connections.
Because I mean, to me, it's not the thinking of sending my child to boarding school is not something that just pops up as an option. So that's I see.
No, the idea for us was more learning English and being for a certain time away from home, and then coming back and then doing the German school system and having the Abitur and having the big Abitur ball, and
now he's doing his own thing.
Yes,
but that's beautiful, and it sounds like he knew himself well enough to make that decision too, because I mean and as you said earlier, it's like if you as parents put the pressure on, it's not necessarily the right thing to do, and it has to kind of come from inside. So that's amazing.
That's the point. We offered him. I mean, for us, it's more we offer our children opportunities, and if they say, okay, I'll grab it, I'll do it, I'll try it, okay, but I'm not a person to say, okay, I want you to do it, because it doesn't work. I want you to learn the guitar. My daughter said, no, I want to play the piano. I said, well, I don't have a piano. And she said, well, I want to learn to play piano. And then we decided to buy a piano. And then I decided to restart learning playing piano. So, I mean,
I love that when that happens, when our children come up with something and they make us change our minds about things, and they give us input and they give us inspiration to try new things. I love it when that happens. It's
absolutely.
And wonderful. And did your daughter go to that school too, or was she still in the German school system?
So then so being in the timeline, so my husband came to me I think several months after my father died. So my mom died 18 years ago. So my father died 3 years ago. And then my husband said, well, listen, I have an offer going abroad. I said, where do you want to go? Shanghai. I said, no, no, not with me. Not with me. I'm really cross that you really ask me this because I lost my dad. Why the hell should I do it? Just go away. And like my husband, okay, I go back to my office telling my boss that you won't do it because he said, well, my wife, she never, absolutely no way to get her to China.
Did you consider at some point that he goes and you stay in Germany with the kids, or was that just not an option ever?
No, he always say, no, we do it together or we don't do it. And then time went by. So I came over the loss of my father, and then my son was in Scotland, and the whole structure of the family changed. So, and then he said, listen, I think it was a year after. And then he said, listen, I have a question, but I think I know your answer, but I ask you now this question once more. How about going to China? I said, well, I think you asked me this question a year ago. Yes, I know, but I got this offer once more. Yeah. This is not normal that people really ask you twice for that kind of job. And in this moment, I said, well, listen, honey, why not? And this is and he was said, well, are you sure? I said, yes, I'm sure. Why not going abroad once more? But for me, there is no one anymore to care. My husband's parents are still very, very well, so there's no need to stay in Germany to take care of them. And I said, listen, why not? I mean, we are so young, and why not trying to do it? So then from this to the other, from one moment to the next, we said, let's do it. And
wow, that's a massive decision, especially
yes. So I pick up I took my phone. I have 3 elder sisters, and the elder one, the oldest, she said, wow, oh great, what a good decision. I'll be there in China. And I have 2 other sisters. They said, what are you doing? I mean, you lived already 8 years abroad. Why are you leaving your comfort zone? Why are you leaving Germany? I said, listen, because we want to be abroad once more. We want to have the experience once more. And we want perhaps also change situation for our children. So we went to Shanghai, having this look and see.
Oh yeah, I was just going to ask, had you been there before? Because
yeah, we've been there for a week, and the twins were more than happy to be in this thrilling city. I mean, 26 million people living there.
I can't even imagine.
These skyscrapers and this massive amount of restaurants and stores and Nike stores, Adidas stores, but these 1,000 square meters shops.
So how old were they, the twins, at that point?
They were 11. Okay. And and our daughter, she said, well, yeah, Shanghai is a nice place to be. And we definitely decided to send them to a British school and not the German school anymore. And I said, well, if you want, you can also go to the boarding school in Scotland. It's your choice. It's your decision. I would definitely suffer when you are not with me anymore, but I could understand that you have the opportunity to also live in this kind of boarding school system. And for her, it was not easy for her to decide, but in the end, she decided being in Scotland, and it was the best thing for her. The German school really didn't understand that she really needs more food for her brain, and she lost interest. this has changed in that boarding school a lot. Now she is brilliant. I mean, it's like this.
Oh, that's
And
beautiful. Because I think as a parent, it's the most horrible thing is when they're not recognized, and you see the potential. It's soul crushing sometimes to see, or to be in that position where you can't do anything about the situation. But on the other hand, have someone recognize that and bring them out of, get them out of their shell. I mean, that's wonderful. Yeah. So that must be
absolutely. Yeah.
So I guess that in many ways, you obviously you miss her terribly, but knowing that she's in the right place makes it
Absolutely.
so worthwhile.
And in the end, it's always the question: what do you want as a mother, and what do you want your children? I mean, I could be very selfish to say, I want you to be close to mom. But my husband said, listen, if he comes back, or if she comes back, and they don't really want to, I think they will not be happy. And this is the point where you have to let your children go.
Yeah. But it sounds like it was very much a family decision to have. It's actually everyone contributing to that. And I think that's beautiful. And that's one of those things that it's not always possible to do that, but when it is possible, that's amazing. Yeah.
You are right. It always, I mean, we have a good situation that we can offer them, our children, this.
I feel just listening to you, and because you had all those experiences and living in other countries, that that also changed your outlook, and you weren't looking at the German school system as the one and only. So you had seen other ways of living and just more possibilities, I guess.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about China or Shanghai, even if you're not there right now, but you're supposed to be. So you left Germany for Shanghai last summer with your family.
Yes.
Read all about the beginnings on your blog. But that was a year ago, and now you're actually in Germany, in a place that's it is your own, as holiday home. And you went there and initially thought it was just going to be a couple of weeks to ride out the coronavirus in China and then go back, and now it's been a few months. So tell me, what happened?
Corona popped up in midst of January, and I remember the day we received the email from school. The kids have to wear their masks because there is a kind of virus coming around, and I already bought masks because the pollution in Shanghai was terrible. And then end of January there had been this Chinese New Year, 2 weeks holidays, and we decided to stay a week in Thailand. So we went there, and the coronavirus already covered China. And we decided, okay, there's no need to go back to China, to Shanghai, because school will not be open after 2 weeks holidays, but after 3 weeks. And we decided, okay, let's go back to Germany for 2 weeks and see it from the safe place, Germany, what will happen in China. Still, it was not the pandemic. I mean, it was just a China thing. And school was suspended, and school was suspended with no date of reopening. And we decided to stay here. My husband went back to China, and I decided to send the twins also to Scotland. And so they were safe in Scotland. I was in Germany on my own. No one was with me.
Wow.
I felt a little bit lost. Lucky I have my old dog with me. And still now it's end of May. We are still in Germany. School in Scotland is closed.
Of course. Well, they closed closed in March. So all 4 children came back to Germany.
All four children are now with us. My husband decided to see us for some days around Easter break. and he booked a flight for 10 days. But then there was the China closing of
Of course.
the borders. And so my husband now is here in the 9th week. It's not that, well, he has a very important job to do in China, and he's doing it from the Hunsrück area.
So it's six of you in a holiday home, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I guess it could be worse, but
it could be worse. But we came from Thailand just with a suitcase of summer clothes.
Oh, my goodness! Of course, yeah.
No keys for the house, no keys for the car, no keys for the garage, no driver's license, no bank card, nothing.
Oh my goodness.
Nothing.
That's very exciting. I'm not.
Oh
my God.
Old clothes here in my wardrobe,
and
I said, "Well, okay. I mean, it still fits. I mean, it's not the high fashion, but is there any need to have high fashion? No.
Who cares at the moment? Who cares anyway? I mean, no one.
Who cares?
No one needs to buy new things right now.
No, absolutely.
It's like completely the opposite to what you were expecting a year ago when you first left for China, and you probably did not think you'd ever
be an expat in my country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So being an expat in your own country, I mean, I don't have my home here. I mean, well, it's a kind of home, but it's not my day-to-day things which I love to have around me. But there is no way of changing the situation. We don't really know.
There's a lot of uncertainty that
and
we all have to deal with at the moment. You can't really plan.
You can't really plan.
Totally.
And we don't really know if the schools in Scotland will be open in September. No one knows.
No, nobody knows anything right now. I'll keep my fingers crossed. So, Luise, we're coming to the end of our conversation. Mm-hmm. I always like to end my episodes with a little personal contribution, maybe a recipe or tradition that you have when you miss another country. And in your case, you have a few to choose from. Is there anything you do when you miss one of them? Anything that helps you connect with that country in a special way?
Well, yeah, I think it's a lot of taste related or smell related. Mm-hmm. If I really miss Mexico, which I really still miss when we are in China, I said let's go to Pistolera, and this is a very, very good Mexican restaurant. And I get my Corona, I got my tequila, and I got my corn tortillas, and I'm happy. And a kind of remembrance, or I say, okay, today Italy. Mm-hmm. Okay, I take my Italian bag, my bag which my husband bought me when we left Italy, and I was crying, and I couldn't stop crying. And he bought me this beautiful leather handbag made by Prada. I was so proud having something made by Prada.
Wow.
And, yeah. I mean, it's yes, it's a material thing, but if you don't really feel good, you try to get yourself in a more cozy surrounding.
I love the sensory approach, because it's so evocative, isn't it? When you smell something or you see a color that just reminds you and takes you back. I really like that. Thank you so much for talking to me. That was so much fun and so interesting.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Yeah, it's nice, and especially at the moment where we can't travel. Sometimes it's nice to travel vicariously, through someone else, and take a trip somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for asking me with your interview. I really like it, and I will follow you, and I'm willing to hear about other women or other trailing husbands, where they are, what they do.
Guess I'll have to find some trailing husbands. I know they're out there. Bye, Luise. So that's it from me for today. That was a really interesting conversation for me. It's always good to hear experiences that are very different to my own. That's why I'm doing this. I don't think I'll ever get bored hearing people's stories. And Luise actually said the same thing. We had a brief chat after our recording, and she said how much she loves listening to other people's experiences, but also how much she's trying to be an active global woman, a true Weltfrau, offering her support and advice for people who ask for it and need it. So if you find that you would like to get in touch with her, discuss living in Shanghai or what it's like to repatriate to Germany, or if you're thinking of sending your children to boarding school, get in touch with her. She's happy to share her experience and knowledge. We ran out of time and didn't actually manage to talk about her website in detail, but I've linked everything in the show notes, including her Instagram, shanghai.calling. So yeah, you can get in touch with her through that. And Luise, if you're listening to this, I hope you and your family can make some proper plans again soon. And in the meantime, enjoy being in Germany. I have to say, I'm kind of jealous of that little retreat of yours. I'd much rather not be where I am right now. But I know I'm not the only one. And I also know it's much worse in other places. And I'm going to stop now. Take care, stay well, wear a mask, and see you next time.